On October 24th, EJ released her debut solo single, In Another World. Within the first 24 hours, it skyrocketed up to the 6th most downloaded song on iTunes. Here's EJ in a pinch me fairytale moment, celebrating her release in Times Square with her name and image in lights, just like in some dream. It's only been 126 days since K-Pop Demon Hunters dropped on Netflix, but little 11-year-old EJ waited 22 years for this day. Just a few months ago, no one knew who she was. EJ was quietly living her life in Brooklyn, working behind the scenes as a K-pop songwriter. But then, K-Pop Demon Hunters hit Netflix on June 20th, and everything changed. With the release of the movie and its soundtrack, EJ's life was transformed. Suddenly, EJ was famous, with fans around the world. On October 24th, EJ released her debut solo single, In Another World. It's a song that she never thought would ever be released, and it's the culmination of a heartbreaking journey that began halfway around the world 22 years ago. EJ's emergence into global pop culture is one of the biggest stories of 2025. Her story has inspired millions, and her music has given hope to many wrestling with their own demons. Today, we're diving into the extraordinary rise of EJ since June 20th, from an unknown behind-the-scenes talent to one of the brightest stars in the music world. What happened in these past few months, and what does the future hold for this rising star? Let's find out. In Another World starts out as a quiet ballad, not unlike so many other breakup songs.
I was thinking about space and not the one between us.
With this trope, EJ lulls you into believing that you're safe, that you'll be okay.
Maybe in another world where all that I'm jealous.
But then, she belts out those impossible high notes in the final chorus. Chills run down your spine, and you realize you're not okay. EJ wrote In Another World a few years ago, when she was going through a mutual break with her now fiancé. What started as a way to heal relationship wounds has transcended its original meaning to serve a more universal purpose.
During that time, I was going through an intentional break, and it was a healthy one. We were really good, but I wanted an intentional break just to reassess everything. And if we chose to part ways, it was kind of a way to kind of cope with that idea. And I realized that when I kind of accepted that maybe in this lifetime, because of all the baggage or trauma that we both went through and the resentment that was caused by that, it's kind of, that in this world we might not be good, but maybe in another world we would have been perfect. And that kind of mindset kind of helped me let go. Accepting that, and it kind of helped have an ego death moment. And so weirdly, that was freeing, that there's infinite versions of us and infinite possibilities that really.
It's not just a song, it's her heart laid bare for the world to hear. The lyrics pour out of a wounded soul that's crossed time, space, and countless struggles, trying to find peace in a world that often feels impossible to navigate. What makes this track so impactful isn't just the haunting melody or the raw emotion in EJ's voice. It's the story behind it. This is a song that EJ never thought would see the light of day. For years, she wrote for others, creating hit after hit. But this one is hers. Every note is a reflection of the pain, the hope, and the dreams that nearly broke her before they finally set her free. In Another World is the first chapter of a new era for her, one where she's no longer hidden behind the scenes, but standing front and center, singing her truth. For anyone who's followed her story, this song feels like a promise that no matter how many times the world knocks her down, she will rise. EJAE'S journey to this moment didn't come easy. Ever since she was a little girl, EJAE dreamed of becoming a singer. At the tender age of 11, she was excited to pursue that dream as an idol trainee at SM Entertainment. But that world demanded everything from her: her time, her energy, and most of all, her spirit. Every morning, her mother would drop her off at dawn, and by midnight she'd be back, exhausted but determined. This was the life of a trainee: long hours, endless practice, and the constant hope that one day she'd make her debut. For 12 years, EJAE gave everything she had. She sacrificed her childhood, missed out on friendships, and lost pieces of herself to a system that told her the only way to succeed was to conform. Yet, through it all, she held on to the dream that one day, her name would light up on a stage in front of millions. But that dream shattered in 2015. Still in her early 20s, SM Entertainment told her she was being let go at the end of her contract. The official reason? She was too old to debut. But the cuts went deeper than that. They told her that her voice, her natural, soulful alto, was too low, too rough. She wasn't the perfect image they wanted to sell. She was too tall. She didn't have the right look. This wasn't constructive criticism of her talent. They were cruel personal attacks on things she couldn't change. That moment, that rejection, felt like the end of everything she had worked for. To be told that who you are wasn't good enough to make it in the industry she loved was a crushing blow. Imagine what that does to someone so young. It was devastating. After she got dropped by SM, EJAE entered into a deep depression. Her life consisted of a never-ending cycle of waking up, crying, and then going back to sleep. Her life, once filled with the excitement of chasing a dream, now felt empty. She had given everything to the K-pop world, and it had rejected her. The pain was overwhelming, and for a while, EJAE could only retreat into herself. Her heart, once full of hope, now grew dark with bitterness, anger and resentment toward other idols, and to the K-pop industry as a whole. But when the universe closes a door, sometimes it opens a window. EJAE was one of the lucky ones, because she was able to crawl out. In a twist of fate, she met Andrew Choi at a church function. Yes, the same Andrew Choi that's the singing voice of Jinu in KPop Demon Hunters. At the time, Andrew was an established songwriter in the K-pop industry, and he saw something in EJAE that she couldn't see in herself. He believed in her. He became her mentor, guiding her back into music, not as an idol, but as a songwriter. He got her into a songwriting camp at SM Entertainment, where EJAE wrote the lyrics to a song that would become the smash hit Psycho by Red Velvet. With that, EJAE's songwriting career began. Just when EJAE was starting to find her footing in the songwriting world, she got her next big break a few years later. Her friend and composer, Daniel Rojas, approached her with an unusual project. Daniel had been working on an animated movie still in the early conceptual phase, along with Maggie Kang, the Korean-Canadian animator who is the genius creator of K-pop Demon Hunters. He told EJAE that the movie was about a K-pop girl group who fought demons on the side. Since K-pop was a big part of the movie, they needed a K-pop songwriter to join the team. Would she be interested? As soon as EJAE heard the concept, she was in. There were lots of animations based on Japanese or Chinese culture, but there weren't any major studio animations based on Korean culture, so she knew she wanted to be part of the project. She didn't do it for fame or fortune. It was a passion project for her, and little did she know that she would become the heart and soul of the movie. Not only would she write songs, but she would eventually be asked to be the singing voice for the lead character, Rumi. When she was working on the movie, she didn't know, no one did, that this movie would become a global phenomenon. When K-pop Demon Hunters dropped on Netflix on June 20th, it seemed like just another animated film in the sea of content available on the platform. With little advanced marketing, It barely made a splash during its first week. But then, something unexpected happened. The few who had watched the movie became obsessed. They rewatched it over and over again, and through word of mouth, more and more people tuned in. By week 2, streaming numbers shot up, and the momentum didn't stop there. What began as a quiet launch soon turned into a full-blown phenomenon, and EJ was at the center of it. Here are some of the jaw-dropping highlights for EJ since June 20th. July 4th, Golden released as a single. The full album dropped on June 20th when the movie was released, but the singles were released a few weeks later. July 29th, K-Pop Demon Hunters becomes the most watched animated movie of all time on Netflix. August 11th, Golden hits #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. August 19th, EJ makes an appearance at a special advanced screening of the movie at Netflix's theater in LA. August 23rd and 24th, a sing-along version of the movie released in theaters. Even though it was just for 2 days in a limited number of theaters, K-Pop Demon Hunters won the box office that weekend, pulling in an estimated $18 million. August 26th, K-Pop Demon Hunters becomes the most watched movie of all time on Netflix, beating Red Notice with over 236 million views. September 3rd, K-Pop Demon Hunters becomes the most watched title on Netflix, beating Squid Game's Season 1 with over 266 million views. September 6th, EJ posts her first TikTok, featuring Audrey Nuna and Ray Ami. It gets 8 million views. September 7th, the singing voices of Huntrix, EJ, Audrey Nuna, and Ray Ami attend the VMAs in New York City to present the Album of the Year award to Sabrina Carpenter. Golden was nominated for the Song of the Summer award, but they lost to Tate McRae's Just Keep Watching. Boo! They were clearly robbed. But they looked awesome presenting. And on the red carpet, September 14th, the K-Pop Demon Hunters soundtrack hits #1 on the Billboard 200 chart. It's the first soundtrack ever to have 4 songs simultaneously in the top 10. September 19th, EJ attends the iHeartRadio Festival in Las Vegas and shares the stage with Ryan Seacrest to introduce Maroon 5. Also on September 19th, K-Pop Demon Hunters ends the official 91-day Netflix performance tracking with a record 325.1 million views. October 2nd, Fortnite adds skins for Rumi, Mira, and Zoe. Here's a video of Ray Ami trying to teach EJ and Audrey Nuna how to play Fortnite. This may be the most Zoe thing ever, second only to forcing Mira to watch videos about turtles. October 4th, EJ, Audrey Nuna, and Ray Ami make a surprise appearance in a skit with Bad Bunny on Saturday Night Live. It's the first time we ever hear all 3 of them singing together live as a group. October 7th, EJ, Audrey Nuna, and Ray Ami are guests on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, where they make their official debut singing Golden to a live studio audience. Jimmy surprises the girls by announcing that the K-Pop Demon Hunters album is now certified platinum. October 22nd, EJ is a guest on You Quiz on the Block, one of the biggest variety shows in South Korea. Also on October 22nd, news outlets report that EJ has signed with WME, one of the largest global talent management agencies. October 24th, EJ releases her debut solo single In Another World, just 126 days after K-Pop Demon Hunters dropped on Netflix. Within just a few months, EJ has gone from an unknown figure from the K-pop industry to one of the most recognizable names in the world of music, with an ever-growing list of record-shattering achievements. But with all of this success, one question lingered. Was this all happening too fast? Success often comes with a price, and for EJ, the journey was about to get even more challenging. While the world was celebrating the unexpected success of K-Pop Demon Hunters, EJ's personal life was turning upside down. The pressure of newfound fame was mounting, and it didn't take long for fans to connect the dots. EJ was the singing voice behind Rumi, the lead character in the film. Fans were eager to hear her sing live, but the songs in the movie had been written for animated characters. They were never meant to be performed live. EJ hadn't performed live in over a decade, not since her trainee days at SM. As the requests for interviews, performances, and public appearances began pouring in, EJ found herself struggling to keep up. The pressure was overwhelming. The constant stress, the lack of sleep, and the rising expectations from fans started taking a serious toll on her health. She was only getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep each night, pushing herself beyond her limits. Her immune system, already compromised from the non-stop schedule, collapsed under the strain. She got bronchitis, caught COVID, and picked up a nasty cold. But perhaps the hardest part wasn't physical. EJ had lived a quiet, private life for so long, and now she was thrust into the public eye. Every move, every word was scrutinized by millions. She had to navigate panic attacks and the overwhelming sensation of being on the edge of losing control. Suddenly, it wasn't just about performing. There were constant interviews, public appearances, and the crushing reality of being expected to give more and more, with little room to breathe. The morning of her appearance on The Tonight Show, EJ was at her lowest point. Her voice, still recovering from bronchitis, cracked during rehearsal with Audrey Nuna and Ray Ami, just like in the movie. She didn't think she could go through with it. How could she perform? How could she meet everyone's expectations? But then, something changed. Her manager reminded her of why she was here and told her to focus on the lyrics to Golden, lyrics that had helped her get through her darkest times. The words that had once been a lifeline for her now became the anchor she needed to get through the performance. And you know what? It worked. Just like that, her voice returned, and, along with Audrey Nuna and Ray Ami, they were able to deliver an unforgettable performance. Even after everything she's been through, EJ's journey is far from over. If anything, her story is just getting started. Right now, she's still writing songs and diving into new projects. There's still no official word on a sequel yet, but Netflix and Sony are reportedly holding negotiations. In the meantime, there's another sing-along event being held in theaters during Halloween weekend. This time, it's being released to more theaters over 3 days and not just 2. Also, for those of you in Southern California, EJ, Audrey Nuna, and Ray Ami will be giving their first live concert performance as Huntrix on December 5th during the Jingle Ball being held at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California. Finally, let's talk about awards season. Golden has already picked up a prize by winning for Best OST at the K-World Dream Awards, held on August 21st in Seoul, South Korea. Coming up is the KPop Mama Awards that will be held in Hong Kong on November 28th and 29th. Golden and Soda Pop are nominated for Best OST and for Song of the Year. The Grammys nominations will be announced on November 7th, and the Oscars nominations will be announced on January 22nd. Will the songs from KPop Demon Hunters get the recognition it deserves at these prestigious events? We're all waiting to see if EJ's journey continues to break barriers, not just in the K-pop world, but on the global stage. For EJ, it's been a whirlwind ever since June 20th, but through it all, she's remained humble and grateful. A story like EJ's only comes around maybe once in a generation, and even though we're watching her journey from afar, we can all learn some lessons from her. Perhaps the most important lesson is to never give up. The universe has a way of throwing you into a dark pit to test you, and you will, no doubt, go through some difficult trials at some point in your life. But the universe is also about balance, so it often provides a pathway to crawl out, but it's up to you to find it. So stay humble and pay close attention to the signals the universe is sending you. Your path out of the darkness may appear in the form of a mentor who believes in you, or as a friend who thinks about you when forming a team for an unusual project. Or it may appear to you in the form of a song, written by someone who's suffered through heartbreak and survived to sing about it.